Thank you for inviting me to present on the EV development in Norway. My name is Silje and I work at the Norwegian Ev Association. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about where I work and then on to the numbers in Norway on EV development and also on some of the challenges that we are facing in the future on EVs. So, yeah. The Norwegian Ev Association is the world's largest EV association. We have over 65,000 members. We of course hope that this will change soon, that someone else will become the world's largest EV association. But we are a non-profit NGO, and our main source of finance is member fees. We are now 26 employees, and we work with politicians, with car importers, with car producers. We represent our members. That's our most... We also do research and statistics on EV usage in Norway. We have now more than 20 years of experience. The association was officially founded in 1995, but it started out as more of a support group for Norwegian production of EVs. Maybe you've heard about the Think, very small electric car. And then later on it transformed into a member association, which is what it is today. We also have, in addition to the 26 employees that are working in the office in Oslo, we have 12 local branches, and they are situated around all over the country, and they promote EV usage on a local level. And that is important to our members, and therefore it is important to us. So now we can have a look at the numbers. We have just reached over 270,000 electric vehicles in Norway. I'm just going to repeat that battery electric vehicles, they have electricity as the only energy carrier, and plug-in hybrids, electricity and fossil fuel. So there has been quite a steady growth, but what is more important, or more interesting, I mean, is the market share. So here is the market shares for battery electrics and plug-in hybrids in Norway, and in 2011 it was very not a big percentage, and it kind of increased in phase with the release of new electric models on the market. And as you can see, in 2016 there was a dip, and that's also when there were a few new electric models released. And this increase has happened quite fast. If you see the blue dot that were supposed to be orange, that's the European market share on new passenger cars. It's only 1%, but that was also the place that Norway was just 7 years ago. So this has happened extremely fast. We actually have had the incentives in Norway from the middle or the late 1990s, but people didn't start to massively buy electric cars before we had more of the new or more modern age electric vehicles, like the Mitsubishi i-MiEV and Nissan Leaf and the Tesla S, of course. So let's look at the cars that Norwegians buy. These are the top-selling battery electric models in 2018 by September. Nissan Leaf, Volkswagen e-Golf, BMW i3 leading the way. So mostly small compact cars, but as Sven Søyland just said, there could have been a lot more cars sold here or on this picture because there are so many people standing in line. And also the cars that they're waiting for, it's the bigger family cars. So now there's a lot of small cars on the market, but people are waiting for the cars with more space to put their family in and with longer range. So just to sum up the market development, this was the market share for new passenger cars in 2010. Battery electric and plug-in hybrids, 0. Diesel, 75%. Fast forward, this is by September this year, market share passenger new cars, 2018. Diesel has shrunk down to just 18%, while plug-in hybrids and battery electrics are making up almost 50%. So that means that almost 50% of the new cars that are sold today, they come with a plug in Norway. If we look at the Nordic countries to compare, these were numbers in 2016 and 2017. So there is a positive and strong trend in all the Nordic countries, with Denmark as the only exception. Norway and Sweden has the biggest markets in pure numbers, while Finland and Iceland show very strong growth, with a doubling in Finland. So back to Norway again, mass market has really come to Norway. And we have passed the early adopter stage. Now everyone are buying electric cars. It's not only the people that are very techno interested. And we do an annual survey. This year it was 9,200 respondents. And 92% in that survey stated that they were satisfied or very satisfied with their battery electric vehicle. And also 72% of the respondents claim that they have helped other people or spread the rumor of how good it is and made other people, their neighbors, friends, also buy electric cars. This guy on the picture, he lives in Finnmark, which is Norway's most northern county. There are not any fast chargers there yet, and it's very cold, and there are great distances between the cities. But also in Finnmark, people are buying electric cars, despite the cold and the difficulties. And I think that really proves that when you can buy and drive electric cars there, you can do it really everywhere.
I noticed that this person hasn't insulated his house. He has bought an electric car instead.
Yeah.
I don't know which is more beneficial to the environment.
I can't really say either, no.
That's rhetorical.
Just one more example that mass market on electric vehicles in Norway has really come. Along one of the high roads, Circle K, a gas station brand, they have just started, or they have planned to build another gas station, but they have actually shut the plants down because they are insecure about the future of fossil fuels, and they didn't expect that the transition to battery electric cars would go this fast. So this is actually how far we've come. And this is the battery electric vehicle market share by county in September for new passenger cars. And Sven Søland just went through the incentives real quick, and I'll come back to it afterwards. But in the bigger cities, Oslo, which is the capital of Norway, and then you have Hordaland, where Bergen is also the next largest city in Norway, the local incentives are very strong. And so it's very attractive to buy electric vehicles where the local incentives are strong, but also in these districts, the market shares are very high. Finnmark, for example, which is way on the top there, has 14% market share this month, or September. So 13% larger than market share in Europe. And so to the incentives. There are national incentives, and they go on buying and leasing. So when you buy an electric car, you don't pay any purchase tax, and you are exempted to pay VAT. When you own them, you don't pay annual road tax, and if you have an electric vehicle as a company car, you only pay 60% of the company car tax. Using incentives are local. So you don't have to pay when you go through the toll roads. when you go on the ferry, or when you're parking. Also, when you go you can have access to the bus lane with the electric car. And what we have found out in our survey is that the purchase tax, being exempted from the purchase tax and zero VAT, is crucial for people when they buy an electric vehicle, because this makes the electric vehicles in Norway able to compete with fossil fuel cars. So if you can afford to buy a new car in Norway, you can afford to buy an electric vehicle. And also this comes in front of us now is another survey that we did last year. And we asked people in different countries what was the biggest or most important barriers for not buying a battery electric car. And in Norway, you can see that price isn't a barrier anymore because of the incentives. Now people in Norway are more concerned about range or the lack of charging infrastructure. In Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Iceland, price comes up as one of the main barriers. So for the challenges, the policy measures and that they are stable is very important, because if they're not, this will happen what is happening in Denmark will happen elsewhere as well, that it causes insecurity and no one feels that they should buy electric cars. When it comes to, or I forgot to say also that Norway has a very ambitious goal that in 2025 we will only sell zero-emission cars. And this goal has broad political support. And the current government has also stated that they will support the buying incentives so that people that buy electric cars are exempt from purchase tax and zero VAT to maintain the development towards this goal so that we will reach it. And this is very important if we are to reach the goal. Also, the challenge is the vehicles, because as it is now, the car producers can't deliver. And this is really important also if you want to reach the 2025 goal, that we have enough cars. Market acceptance, I've already been through that. People are very happy with their electric cars. And we are a member organization, and we have phone lines open every day. And many of the people that ring or calls us, they wonder, like, how do we charge? How do I use my charging tag? How does everything of this work? Because people are insecure because it's a new thing, but once they learn it, it's just like filling up a tank of fossil fuel. So it's really just changing our behavior and making people think different about it. I haven't really talked a lot about charging infrastructure, but what I can say is that in Norway, the EVs, they came before charging infrastructure was in place. And now, if we are to reach the 2025 goal, we will have to charge 1 million cars in 2025. Right now, this infrastructure is not in place, but there was a goal in 2015, or the state entity Enova said that they wanted a fast charger on every 50th kilometer in Norway. And in 2017, this goal was reached. We now have fast charger on every 50th kilometer on the main roads in Norway, with the exception of Finnmark, which was the most northern county. There are also, I think, 44 Tesla supercharger stations in Norway now. One of the world's largest Tesla supercharger station is in Norway. Also, we have more than 10,000 public charging points all over the country, like all the charging points all together. And about 1,500 cars can fast charge at the same time in Norway. And we see also the same development in other countries, that they are setting these kinds of goals that Norway has set for itself with the 2025 goal. And this is important if we are to avoid serious climate changes and fulfill the Paris Agreement. And as I showed you on my first slide, Norway had only 1% of the market share for battery electric cars only 7 years ago. So it is possible to make such a rapid growth of battery electric cars also other places in the world. And also, I also want to advertise for the Nordic EV Summit that we will have together with Nordic Energy Research and TU. It's said to be Europe's best, most professional electric vehicle summit, and I can, of course, confirm that. And I also have some flyers with me if some people are interested. Now, that was all.
So, yeah, thank you very much. You did save a couple of minutes, but I have a bunch of questions, so I don't think there's going to be any saving of the time. Anyone wants to get involved? Any questions? Okay, I'll use the opportunity. I actually have a bunch of them. Oh. So you repeatedly mentioned 7 years ago, 1% market share for EVs, and now almost 50. So what actually explains the change? So presumably, most of those tax breaks have been in place longer than 10 years, right? So why the change? Why the takeoff? No. It's not an immediate effect of certain policies, right? Certain factors come together. Maybe it's the diesel scandal that also helped collapse the diesel's market share in cars. So I want you to expand a bit on this.
Well, it's mostly because the car producers started to produce cars or electric vehicles with better range, and then it became attractive for people to buy these cars and use them. Also, if we could charge at home, you could charge in the night, and then you would have access to the public bus lane the day after when going to work, not paying. And also in the long run, it's a lot cheaper in Norway now to use electricity as fuel instead of diesel or gasoline. So people realize that, okay, I can save a lot of money on this because, in their survey. Many of the battery electric owners stated that what was most important was the incentives, right, but also that the cars could drive longer.
Right.
Yeah.
So a couple of factors there, both the tax breaks, availability, infrastructure, but also the availability of actually good exactly. cars in the market. One more question. Oh, over there. There's a question there. We have, yes.
Actually, I'm quite curious how the Norwegians going to integrate in the European travel system. For example, you have the electrical cars by 2025, and what's about Europe? So actually, you can go as far as the border of Norway, because the network doesn't provide you with this beautiful possibility to travel around with your car.
There are already a lot of people that has battery electric cars, and they use them for vacations, driving down Europe. Charging stations are popping up everywhere, and there are a lot of charging operators in Europe that are very keen to set up charging stations. I also, this summer, I traveled from Kirkenes in northern Norway to Murmansk in Russia.
In your diesel car, I suppose?
No, in a Tesla.
Okay.
And we were able to cross the border and drive for 4 hours and then charge when we came to Murmansk with no problem at all. Because as now the technology is developing quite fast, the new batteries will have a lot longer range. And also as the fast charging and normal charging stations pop up, people will have the possibility to charge wherever, I guess.
Okay, another question here. Thank you. All right. Can we bring the microphone over there? Could you state your name and affiliation as well as question?
Hello, my name is Arvīts Pilets. I'm from company Forsman Streets, but this is not connected with that. My question is about extreme cold. For example, in Finnmark, it's extremely cold most of the year, I guess, and efficiency drops in cold, as far as I know. So is it still more efficient to drive electric cars in a cold environment?
Yeah, the efficiency of the battery will drop, but as you can see, people are driving the electric cars there as well. Many people, they have electric vehicles as their car number 2, so maybe they use the electric vehicle for shorter
Trips.
yes, exactly, and their diesel or gas truck for like the longer trips. But also there we are hoping on technology that the batteries will develop so that they can handle the cold as well.
Thank you.
And can we deliver the microphone over there? Here, first row, please. And then over there as well. Right?
Yeah, so I just want to thank you for a good presentation. And I just want to add something on the adjustments, what happens when EV cars become so popular. Because what's happened is that basically bus lanes are not entirely open for EVs anymore. Rush hours, they are closed. Cities can decide themselves for certain policies when it comes to parking and charging and so on. Ferries are no longer free, half price for EVs. So, and the EV owners are quite responsible in terms of accepting these changes, because they're really fond of their cars and they like driving them, and they accommodate to the issue of charging and so on. So we started off having range anxiety. Range anxiety in Norway. Now we have charging anxiety, and that is basically because we don't have too many places. And just one more point when it comes to policies. The building code in Norway has now been adopted, so when you put up a new apartment block or an office, you would have to set aside certain areas and prepare the buildings for, make them ready for charging infrastructure. So basically we're thinking ahead and making it less expensive to retrofit the building with charging and also reserve places for charging. So it's important to note that the regulations, they can be tweaked and changed, but they have to be done in a very sensible manner. And when you have a strong organization with 60,000 members in a country, they're really careful about these changes, that they happen gradually and are sensible.
All right. Cheers, thank you. The last question. Oh, right.
Kaspars, I would like to add that in Latvia in 2019, from 2019, there also will be, for new infrastructure, some EV parking spaces also, that there must be parking spaces.
Right.
And the second additional that I want to if we speak about electric vehicles, why they are so more environmental friendly? Because if usual diesel car emits 95 grams CO2 on kilometers, electric vehicles emits 0 in the cities, but actually in electric stations that generated kilowatt hour adds, then this consumption is about 12 grams to 30 grams CO2 emission. That's 3 times. That's the main, I guess. And if we speak about price, owning this electric vehicle, yes, it's the same, it's higher, but this environmental benefit is actually...
Right.
Yeah.
And there, at the back there, the last comment or question? Yes, please.
Yeah, maybe a quick comment and question. Valdis from Cleantech Latvia. Norway is incredible story. Your electricity is 99% hydro, so be sure that they really run 0 carbon. Other countries has other stories, have to be clear.
Sure.
But question is about lifestyle, about how many of those 65,000 members has it as a single car in a family or a second car? Do you have any statistics?
I have statistics on it, but I don't remember the exact numbers right now. But we can talk afterwards, and I will give you a more
Right.
exact answer.
But is it a half or something like that? Or?
I think it's something like a half, and what we are seeing is that people used to buy it only as a second car, but now more and more people, as the range is being more developed, they are buying it as the only car or the first car. So
Right.
there's a change there as well.
So Silje, many questions and comments on that. Actually, incredible story you were telling us. Thank you.